All right, now let us say hello to the man who will be headlining this Saturday's UFC card in Las Vegas. He's the one and only Robert Whittaker. Of course, he goes up against Kelvin Gastelum in a very important fight in the 185-pound division. Rob, as always, it's great to talk to you. And it's interesting, your last two fights in the midst of this pandemic were on Fight Island. So this is your first time getting a chance to fight at the Apex in America, Las Vegas. What's it been like for an Australian to come over to America for the first time, I presume, and see what the world is like these days?
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. It is a massive eye opener over here. It is just I guess the population is a big thing. So because there's so much the so much larger population, I don't know. It seems like nothing's changed. I come back and everything seems to be operating just the same, except everybody's wearing masks.
Okay. Do you guys have to wear masks over there in Australia now?
No, I think we're at a stage where we don't need to right now.
Wow, that is amazing. I am envious.
Mm.
Um, and is there any, I don't know, irony, coincidence, something? You had those injuries, that string of bad luck before all this. Now in the pandemic, you fight is going to be your third fight in a very short amount of time. It feels like you're more active now than you ever were, but you have to go through quarantine and all this stuff. It's like, oh, all of a sudden you become, active and there's no issues, but you have to go through all this other drama, which is, all the stuff surrounding it. Isn't that weird how that works?
Yeah, it certainly it is very ironic. You can you can definitely see it there.
But I guess everything that that you want to achieve, you have to work for. Biggest question I want to ask you before we get into everything, and it's probably the biggest question that I want to ask in this entire interview. Is it true that you eat sushi with a fork?
No, no, I don't. That was my son's
That's
fork. I grabbed his fork to feed him sushi. I
there's
definitely do
there's
not.
photographic evidence on your Instagram of you digging a fork into sushi, and so you could have used the chopsticks to give it to your son. No.
Yeah, well, I think I was helping him get it on the fork, and
Okay.
then letting him eat it. He struggles with it sometimes.
You took some
Those
heat. You took some
forks.
heat for that, huh? People get very offended by this.
I don't care.
By the way, congratulations to you and your wife on another edition. How many kids is this now?
Four, four.
Wow, that's
It is.
it's quite the
It is
squad.
pure chaos at my house. Like, and the fact that I'm over here while all four are over there running rampant, I got to get home. I got to get
Yeah.
home.
And the age range now, what is it?
It's 5, 4, 3, and
Oh my
0.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Your poor wife.
yeah.
Yes, that is it. You think you'll go for five, or are we good with four?
Who knows? I didn't expect 4, but
Okay. Well, there's a big fight on the horizon, and then you could go back home. And by the way, do you have to do the 2-week quarantine on the way back?
I do. I do. That's why
Oh
these
my.
trips are so impactful because at a minimum I'm gone for a month. It's a long trip.
Yeah. Do you feel like it raises the stakes? Like, if you're gonna go through this trouble, do you say like I better walk away with a great performance? I better walk away with a win?
Not personally. Like that's not how I think of it. I think of the whole trip, the whole process as just it's a sacrifice. If
Hmm.
you want things and anything worthwhile having, you must sacrifice for. And my family understand that and they appreciate it. And this is how I provide for them.
Your original opponent was Paulo Costa. Seemed to be some mystery as to why he withdrew. We heard the flu. So, what are you hearing, or what were you told as to why he didn't? He wasn't able to fight because again, he was the one who called you out. He was the one who said,
Mm.
quite adamantly he wanted to fight you. What were you told?
That he got the flu, just like everybody else, and must have been pretty bad.
Do you buy that?
Yeah, I guess maybe he just had a really bad case of the cold. I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm I'm in no position to say he doesn't have
Okay.
it.
Were you given a range of opponents, some options, or were you just told it's Kelvin and that's the fight?
And yeah, there is no options at the time. Everybody was booked. Everybody's busy, and Kelvin was the only one to come in and save the show really because I wanted to fight at that time as well. The idea of sitting out and not fighting and just pushing everything back and the whole length of the camp gone for naught, it would have annoyed the heck out of me. So for Kelvin to step up and for everything to still be going, I'm very grateful.
For Kelvin to emerge, considering what happened 2 years ago, you guys were literally hours away from fighting. Was this a welcome piece of news for you? Were you maybe even more excited about the Kelvin fight than the Paulo fight because of your history with him?
Not more excited. I think there's a little bit of I owe this to him, but apart from that, it's just another fight. Just another day at work.
Usually, late replacements provide some kind of challenge, but in this case, since you did a whole training camp for the guy and he hasn't really changed, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, it was 2 years ago. I would imagine there was some familiarity with him, even though you didn't actually fight, right?
Yeah, certainly the late replacement does offer challenges, as you said. It does, because 4 weeks to reprogram yourself what you've been doing the entire camp isn't a lot of time, but it's enough, especially like you said, with the previous history between me and him and the work I had done previously in other camps for him. So yeah, I made the changes, I made the adjustments, and I look forward to getting in there.
Which matchup excited you more, if any?
It doesn't matter.
You don't care. You're that nonchalant about all of this. You could not care less.
It's just fighting. It's just you got to fight everyone eventually. It's just every fight has its own different challenges and its obstacles you got to pass. And every different fighter has their own body type and body structure, which you adjust for and you train for. But it's all just fighting, right?
Have you been told that if you win this fight, you are getting a title shot next?
No, I have not.
Do you think that will be warranted if you win this fight?
Who knows? I guess you would think so on paper for sure, but I'm not really looking ahead too much.
Okay.
Gastelum is a very, very hard fight, and honestly, I'm just happy to get in there and to be able to get to work, earn a living, and move forward.
Can you clear something up for me, Rob? After your last fight, the narrative that was put out by the brass was Rob doesn't want a title shot. We wanted to give it to him, but he didn't want a title shot. I never heard you say that.
Yeah.
And then they went with Izzy and Jan. Can you clear that up? Did you turn down a title shot?
Yeah, not at all. Definitely not. I would never do that. Which same man would? You get paid more for title shots.
Right.
But I guess, there was a miscommunication in it. And maybe the timelines didn't work. I guess, some people can argue that if he wanted that bad, he would have fought straight away. And I wanted December off at all costs. I wanted to enjoy Christmas with my family. And there was nothing that was more important than that. And I got to experience that. And I'm very happy. I was there for the birth of my fourth child, which is great. And, I'm back working now anyway. So that's pretty good. I try not to get too bent out of shape on that sort of stuff. It'll drive me crazy.
So you didn't get frustrated when you heard that? You're not the type to kind of go out and tweet things and, get involved in stuff like that in the public. But were you at all frustrated? Because that's something that can stick to you, right? Oh, he didn't want a title shot. How crazy is this guy? He didn't want a title shot.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It won't stick to me. Nothing sticks to not like that anyway. It's it is what it is. It was a miscommunication, and as you have said, and you've noticed, there were two sides of the story, and there's two groups of people that understand what they heard, and it is what it is. I'm very fortunate in the sense that I've got the time to spend with my family, and I'm still here. I'm able to fight this week, and I'm looking forward to it.
So I asked you earlier if you've been told whether or not you're fighting for a title shot. You said that you weren't, and I'm not surprised because there were these other two middleweight fights before yours, and it kind of felt like this little tournament to see who would be the next guy. First, we had Derek beating Kevin, then we had Marvin beating Kevin, and now it's your turn. I feel like it has come down to your fight. I feel like if you win, no ifs, ands, or buts, no matter how you win, you're getting the title shot. Did you watch those two other fights to try to see what they were doing and then to see, okay, what would that mean for my fight?
Not too much, not really, because
it's amazing that we care about these things so much, and you're just like, nah, I don't really care. We talk about it ad nauseum.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I expect the best Kelvin to get like to step in there, and that's what I've trained for, and that's what I have in my head. And I'm not going to watch any fight of his that he doesn't look spectacular. And I look forward to trying what we worked on during the fight. I look forward to earning my paycheck, and I look forward to some R&R afterwards. I'm not too stressed.
But I was asking about Marvin's win and Derek's win to see, okay, this is what the other guys gunning for a title shot are doing. I'm going to watch this as I prepare for my fight to know what I have to
Mhm.
do in order to secure my spot. Does that enter your your
Okay,
your
yeah.
mindset?
Sorry. I guess not really. No, not really, because I'm just going to do me. I'm not going to try and do anything I don't want to do. I'm not going to try and be anything I'm not going to be. All I'm going to do is I'm going to focus everything I have to making weight and to fighting Kelvin on the weekend. And a win opens up doors across the board. A win
Mm,
puts me on the top, and it allows me to do anything.
mm.
So that's all I'm gunning for. That's as far as my future is predicted, and that's as far as I can look ahead to.
Did you watch Marvin's fight on Saturday? And if so, what do you think of his performance?
Yesterday, yeah, I did. I thought it was a very smart fight. I thought it was a good performance. I thought he did what he was having a lot of success with the wrestling in the fight, and was smart enough to continue doing so. I don't know if that was the original game plan for the entire fight, but because it was late notice, I assume not. And yeah, he saw an opportunity, and he just kept exploiting that gap.
Mm. Speaking of wrestling, in his last fight, Kelvin used his wrestling more so than we've seen in quite some time, probably more so than since his debut several years ago. And he was on that 3-fight losing streak, but showed a lot more wrestling in his fight against Ian Heinisch. Were you impressed with that? And B, are you expecting more wrestling in your fight on Saturday?
Um, I guess impressed wouldn't be the word. Like, it is what it is. It was a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for him to get the win. But do I expect him to wrestle? I do. He's very subtle with his hands. I think he does have pop, and he does have very dangerous hands. Though I would expect him to try and wrestle me, to slow me down, and to try and push a fight in a direction that'll better for him.
And was that, I mean, obviously a completely different game plan than a Paulo Costa, but that's not necessarily the same Kelvin that you were preparing for 2 years ago, right? He didn't, at that point in his career, he wasn't using his wrestling as much. So would you say he has evolved since the last time you were preparing for him?
It's hard to say as well, because against Ian, like, that's the way you fight. That's
Right, right.
that's such a solid strategy, especially when he can do that to take the fight where he wants it to go. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, really.
Of course, I'd be remiss if I don't ask you about Izzy and Jan. What did you make of that fight? Speaking of wrestling.
I thought it was a good fight. I thought Jan fought very smart. I thought he's very patient. He had an excellent game plan, and to attack the double legs in the later rounds, when Izzy doesn't quite have that spring in his step, was perfect.
Do you think he made a mistake, Izzy, by not bulking up more? Or do you think that
Uh,
fight ends up the same regardless?
it's very hard to say, because Izzy bulks up more, maybe he's not as fast. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it changes the way he fights. Yeah, it's too hard to say, really.
But this would be a good time necessarily. I mean, like, you fight him after a loss, maybe the confidence is a little bit down. Like, do you feel okay, this is a guy who's ripe for the is a different Izzy who's not riding high on a winning streak?
Maybe his aura of invincibility certainly
Yes.
is shattered. Well, and but in saying that, I got to fight Gastelum.
Yes.
So all focus is on him right now.
Is it annoying to do all this media leading up to this fight when naturally everyone wants to talk about the next one, the title shot, what could be the rematch, all that stuff?
That's something everybody's done since it started.
Right.
Everybody's like that. That's just the way it works.
It doesn't bother you.
No, because it's not anything new. Since I debuted, it's always been the same. It's like, where does this fight lead you? What do you want to fight next? What do you want to
Sure.
do? And then there's always been lots of media during fight week and everything. And let's be honest, when you're cutting weight, everything annoys you.
Yes, yes, I understand. How is the weight cut this time?
Yeah, good. I think honestly, I think I have the science down quite well. and I cannot wait for the weigh-in so that I can get some decent food into me.
Right.
Not decent food, I reckon. Just more food in me.
Okay.
I guess that's the word. I want more
What is the go-to meal post weigh-in?
post weigh-in. It's generally the same sort of meal I had prior. So I try to keep the foods
Ah,
similar to cutting so that my body can absorb it quickly because it's used to it. And then meals after that I start to change. So I slowly start to introduce maybe some red meat, some pastas or something.
what is the one thing you crave in this week, like when it's at its worst?
Mate, and I'll tell you right now, it's always different. It's always different. Every cut's different. But this week in particular, I am craving onion rings.
Interesting. Is that a
Like I,
first?
it is. I don't know why, but I just want them. I want them more than anything right now.
That's weird. Are you usually an onion ring kind of guy?
If they offer them, I generally do buy them.
Interesting.
But I like onion rings. They're nice.
Best onion rings in Australia. Is there like a spot?
No, there
Oh,
is
no.
not. There's
Okay.
they're very hit and miss though. So like you'll either get good onion rings or you will
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. I feel you on that. Now, will you eat the onion? Like if you're craving something, will you eat it before the fight or something like that, which isn't necessarily healthy? Will you save it for post fight?
Probably. I may have some. It depends. I guess it depends on maybe. Nah,
Mhm.
generally not. I won't have too much deep fried foods before the fight.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit if like I'm craving it that bad and make me happy because that is more important than anything else, right?
Sure. And by the way, speaking of being happy, I saw on your Instagram, you have taken up playing the guitar,
I
a-
have.
and this has brought you great joy. Why is that?
It's just a way for me to unwind, but also stimulate myself at the same time.
Hmm.
It's fun. I like sh- putting the notes together and hearing something pretty. It's fun. It's a new
How long
challenge.
has this been something that you've been interested in doing?
I've wanted to do it for the longest time,
Hmm.
but I only finally managed to get over that bump of purchasing the guitar and starting probably last year.
Have you ever tried the ukulele?
No, I haven't. I
Oh,
haven't.
you know what that is, right?
Yeah, small,
The
like
small.
the
Oh,
yeah,
it's a
small one.
fantastic. I am the same. I've always wanted to do it. I finally got one a few months ago, and I love it. My kids like messing around with it, but it's a great. It's just there's something very rewarding about figuring it all out and then starting to like put
Yeah,
it all together, right?
yeah. It's like a very strong sense of progression.
Yes, I get it. I totally get it. Can you do like a full song at this point?
Yeah, I can play one full song.
Which one?
One full song. More than words, of course.
More than why is that? Of course.
No, it's just I think that's like the go-to acoustic
Is it? I
finger
didn't know.
plucking song.
I'm not really familiar with it. Why don't you play it for us, Robert? I got some time. What do you got? Go ahead.
I don't have my guitar here. I'm sorry. Otherwise, I would have.
I
I
would.
apologize.
Oh, I would have loved it. I would have loved it. I also would have loved to have seen you spar with Tim Tszyu. Wow, what a cool thing that is.
Yeah.
Um, how did that come about?
Yeah, well, so we have mutual friends and connections in the industry, and they organized it. We teed it up, got together, and started working together, and it was really good, really really good. He's a phenomenal boxer. Had a great win the other week, and you could see it from a mile away. He was just looking on fire.
Actual full on sparring you guys do?
Yeah, like within reason. So more or less, it's proper sparring, but we're not trying to kill each other, right?
Any difference when you're going with like a legit pro boxer like him as opposed to an MMA guy in actual boxing sparring? Like, can you tell the difference between the boxer and the MMA fighter in the ring?
Yeah, massively. They're two different sports,
Really?
and
Okay.
yeah, they're two different sports, and you have to kind of approach it as such. So I needed to work on my boxing when I was sparring him. I needed to box him. I couldn't just fight him, and it was very eye opening, and I got a lot of good work across the board there.
You enjoy that, or ultimately are you an MMA fighter? Like there are some MMA guys who I feel like box and they're like, oh, I would love to do this. Um, do you enjoy? Do you feel like you would enjoy that more? Or do you like the full MMA arsenal better?
It's hard to say. I like combat. I like fighting.
Mhm.
whether it's I don't know. I've never competed in boxing, like in a boxing tournament or anything like that, so I don't know what it would be like. But I enjoy combat. I enjoy fighting. So I do really enjoy MMA though, and I love the diversity of the skill sets and where you can take a fight and things like that. That's what makes it so exciting.
Okay, two last quick things. What video games are you playing there to pass the time?
Right now, I got no idea. I am soul searching for a game right now.
What do you mean? You didn't bring anything?
Well, no, I'm doing my usual Fallout 76 runs,
Okay.
and I'm just grinding away. But I want something to really, I don't know. I want to find that new gem. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. So you're out there, you're on the prowl, but you haven't found
Yeah.
anything that's really speaking to your soul.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm still doing my dailies on Fallout 76. So I'm still running that, but I think it's time for to find that hidden gem somewhere.
Okay. And the last one is true or false. All goes well on Saturday. Robert Whittaker wins. He will get on the microphone and he will look down the barrel of that camera and call out Israel Adesanya. True or false?
It's you see, I can't answer that because it's past the fight. I feel
Past the
like
fight.
if
All
I
right.
look past the fight, I am underestimating what Gastelum's going to bring, and that to me is a bad omen.
All right. I tried to slip one. I tried to slip a jab past you there. You were too elusive. I mean, it's your defense is impregnable, as Mike Tyson once said.
I am pretty savvy.
You are. In and out of the cage, Rob. So I wish you the best. Thank you as always for the time and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.